Hello everybody and welcome once again to Casual Gamer Oz as we continue our F1 2017 Career Mode Season 1 with Toro Rosso driver Ben Waterworth. My name is Ben Waterworth and we're into the 15th round of the first season at Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia, and we're going to have a very wet one by the looks of things. Now, bit of news for you in terms of something that happened in between these races. Before we get to that, just a quick recap though of Singapore. I binned it in qualified dead last, and after getting a decent start I binned it again, crashed, and I was out. So forgettable weekend in Singapore. Now what happened, I had enough development points. I had I think 800 or something or other. I fixed up part of the engine, and it looked like they were going to fit it here in time for Malaysia, but Chris came and said that it failed, and therefore they have to do it again, and it's going to cost me another 450 points. So basically, if you didn't know, you can have components fail, you waste points, and you got to do it all over again. I was nearly tempted to go into practice and actually earn those points back, but yeah, for somebody like me who obviously doesn't do practice to get the R&D points, it's frustrating. So that upgrade to the engine failed, and we're going to have to get those points again to try and do it again. So anyway, there you go. Let's get into qualifying here in Sepang. I've qualified both times in my F1 2016 career mode in the top 10, 9th in Season 1, 8th in Season 2, but 2 DNFs at a circuit that I actually really like, a circuit that I've been to a couple of times. So let's do this and try and put the disappointment of those that part failing. Of course, this would be the very last time that Malaysia hosts the Malaysian Grand Prix, because after 2017 they are no longer holding the race there, which is a real shame because it's such a great Grand Prix to go to for Australians. It's the Singapore one's technically the closest, but it's the cheapest, one of the cheapest Grand Prix in the world to go to, and for us, particularly when it was back-to-back with Melbourne early in the season, it made for a very good trip to go to. Now we're on the full wets here, and not just the inters, which obviously you know I prefer. Means you can push it slightly, as we're the fastest here into the first sector. Check out those shadows on the track there. That is epic. As obviously Malaysia is susceptible to monsoons. We were there in 2012 during that monsoon that delayed it. I think it was about an hour delayed the 2012 race from memory. That epic race that Sergio Perez very much should have won that race in a Sauber, but ended up finishing second to Fernando Alonso. We're still in a top 10 pace here at the moment, just on 7th position, which, whoa, I've got a big slide coming out of the corner there, lost the back end, but I've managed to hold on to it. Now Vettel has snuck his way back up into pole. Oh, I think I'm around here this time. No, again, I've caught on to it again. Third time lucky, perhaps, because I feel my next go around I'm going to completely bin it. I've dropped well off the pace all of a sudden. I was just going to say, I hope Vettel can hold on to pole for the championship as we just come up here into the straight. Well, DRS has come in, and the track is drying out, which is affecting us here on the full wets, which is interesting given that generally this is Inter's condition and they've put us on the full wets. This is going to cost us some places. We've gotten some DRS on the back straight there, but just these conditions are not suited to the tyres. And if we can hold on to it here, we might just hold on to 18th. I don't think we're going to be last. We're going to cross the line. Will we hold on to 18th? We will.
Well, that's further back than we'd like, but don't worry about it. Just means more fun for us tomorrow.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jeffrey. Disappointed with that qualifying, but hopefully we can have a dry one and we can push up the grid a little bit further there. Hamilton ended up getting pole too by 800ths of a second. Anyway, our lowest ever qualifying in Malaysia. Can we finally finish a Malaysian Grand Prix? Let's find out. The fact that we're going to find out right now. I'm so pissed off about the fact that that damn part broke. It's a waste of those points. And I get it, it's kind of, you know, just like it would be in real world Formula 1, that you've kind of got that element of risk involved, but it's also very frustrating to have that happen. You save up all those points and it can fail. I mean, come on. And you kind of tell when it's going to fail, because if you're back in the little development truck that you saw in the very first race, you're kind of like, well, that's where you are, it's going to fail. Whereas if it usually passes, it's not. I'm getting my ass kicked here by Ocon. Well, actually, not so much. I think I talked about that, didn't I, with the rivalry system, that usually if you lost a rivalry, I think you had like 3 cracks at beating them. But now, as soon as you lose a rivalry, they just shove another driver at you. So, there we go. Alright, so we are on to race day. It looks as though we're going to have a dry Sepang. And as I said previously, 2 DNFs already here in Singapore. So we want to not have that happen again. We obviously had the DNF in Singapore. Did I say Singapore or Malaysia? You know what I mean. And previously you had 5 finishes in a row there, 4 of them out of those 5 in the points. So prior to that little failure in Singapore, we were doing quite well. Let's take a look at the grid. We know Hamilton's on pole. Hopefully Vettel can take him at the beginning. So it's going to be a Hamilton-Vettel front row, followed by, no doubt, Raikkonen and Bottas in a variety of orders. Yes, Raikkonen and Bottas. We're going to have, no doubt, Ricciardo and Verstappen in 5th and 6th. Of course we are. They have been 5th and 6th every Grand Prix. Massa and Perez, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Alonso way up there in 11th. Magnussen, Ocon, Sainz, Palmer, Stroll, Van Dorn, myself, and it's going to be Verline and Ericsson. So it seems interesting that they do really keep a lot of these very stagnant in their positions. It's only Alonso seems to be the most fluctuated one who kind of can be up at any point in any part of the race. Anyway, excuse me, we're getting ready to race here in Malaysia. It is go, 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 go. I would say for the last time. In real life it's the last time. But obviously we've got 10 of these to do, so you know it's not going to be the last time. I'm going to cut across there. I've got a car on the right, so I can't really do what I want to do. And oh my goodness, it's Pascal Verline who he gets what I wanted to do. He gets the jump. Going wheel to wheel there with Palmer. And I get forced wide by another car there. I'm going to run onto the grass here. I'm going to have to hold on to it. I do. And Stroll has dropped well back. I have dropped well back after a terrible start. Just got tagged up there in a battle that I was going to lose and shoved off. Can I make some positions coming up the hill here? Just ever so slightly. No, I don't. Stroll and Alonso are going to have a little bit of a battle there. I'm going to follow behind this McLaren. I'm going to have to hit the brakes there ever so slightly. I don't want to damage the front wing for once. And we're going to try and shove one up the inside here of Fernando because he is a car we don't want to get stuck behind as I just get wheel to wheel with him and take him off the circuit. But he continues. Sorry about that, Fernando. Didn't mean to do that. As we come up now here, can we shove one up the inside of Lance Stroll? No, we can't. And we're going to find ourselves for the 4th time this season chasing down the young Canadian. And as you know, 2 out of 3 times we've chased down the young Canadian. I've binned it, both at street circuits though. The only time I managed to catch him in Belgium, obviously not a street circuit. So we can see if we can maybe get him early on here. Oh, I've clipped him. They're going to spin me out. No, don't hit the barrier. And that was a poor move by myself. Yellow flags are brought out, and oh, I just can't even get it on the circuit, and that's going to be my afternoon. And if I can just get myself back on track, and that is terrible, terrible racing there by myself. I don't damage the car, but I've damaged my pride. And, well, if I am going to finish my very first Malaysian Grand Prix, it is going to be in dead last, because I'm not going to be able to catch Van Dorn. And, oh, as soon as you go off the track in this game, obviously you get a bit of debris on the tyres and you slide around a lot. And how far are we behind? Okay, we're going to catch 15 seconds in 4 laps. And sadly, we're going to have a rubbish Malaysian Grand Prix. And we probably should retire so we don't damage the engine. But again, given it's a 5-lap race, we're not really going to affect ourselves too much with that. So we could probably push this to the limit to catch Van Dorn. How's our fuel system going? 7-1 laps. It's a long circuit, so no, we won't damage the engine unnecessarily. We'll just see if we can set the fastest lap of the race. How about we go for that here in Malaysia? We got our fastest lap in Italy, of course, so we can tick off a couple of things. You don't get anything for fastest laps. I don't even note it. One thing, actually, that's one thing that I would love for them to do here in the Codemasters games, is that obviously you kind of have your career progression chart on your laptop where you see your results, but keep the statistics for all of them. Like, wouldn't it be good, like 5 seasons in, you can go back and go, oh, who got 3rd in the championship or something like that. Just keep it flowing. One thing that the I know NBA 2K17 does amazingly with their franchise mode is they kind of have like a 100-year season, and they keep up all the statistics, which is just incredible. And they also do it like records. So if you break the most points scored in the game, it tells you that you just broke the record for most points scored ever in the history of the NBA. So wouldn't it be fantastic here if, say, Hamilton kept winning championships, that, you have overtaken Michael Schumacher's record of pole positions. Like, he will no doubt very much in real life very, very shortly, or things like that. It's just little things like that can make a game really great. And I hope Codemasters can implement that sort of a more in-depth career mode when it comes to things like that. And obviously the dream for a lot of F1 fans is if they can get around these sort of sponsor issues which don't allow, say, in the middle of a season or end of a season, Fernando Alonso signs for Haas, or just driver change-ups, which would be fantastic. Team creator, that would be amazing. Track creator, how good would that be? Just thinking about little things that you could do, similar to what they do in some of these other sporting games, FIFA, NBA 2K, and NHL, all these games where they have these expansive modes, which really do add to the feel of like career modes. So I'm sure Codemasters want to do it, and I'm sure hopefully one day they might be able to do it. In the meantime, I hope you're having a lovely Sunday afternoon drive with me here in Malaysia, as obviously I am in no way any good position this afternoon. I think I pulled at least 2 seconds on Stoffel Van Dorn the last time we checked, and another 2 seconds. We're down to 11 seconds with Stoffel. So let's get that gap under 10 seconds. It's not going to be if I keep pushing it off the circuit like that, as Vettel sets the fastest lap, and I do hope that means that he might be in the lead of this Grand Prix, because we're all the way Team Vettel. Now, looking on the circuit map there, looks as though I'm at least on the same piece of tarmac as Stoffel at one point there, so I am gaining on that McLaren. This would be a perfect opportunity for Codemasters to implement the other cars have failures bug or something along those lines, because we haven't seen that yet. Let's cross the line here, and we're down to 11.1 seconds with 2 laps to go. I do my fastest lap by 1.1 second. Still not the fastest of the Grand Prix just yet, but we're going to see if we can get the gap to Stoffel under 10 seconds. And it's a great circuit, Sepang. Again, as I said before, sad that this is no longer going to be on the calendar, but they've got other frontiers to meet, do the new owners of Formula 1. So we will see where that might take us. And hopefully one day, never say never to a Sepang Grand Prix returning. Never thought we'd see Mexico return or Austria return, so again, never say never. As we take that section very, very cleanly. Come up into this great corner here where each time I've driven out of this, I've spun the back end of the car and I hold on to it for the first time that time around. We're down to 9.9 seconds now, so we're slowly pinging the gap back there to Stoffel. But of course we're going to run out of laps. It's only a 5-lap race here on Casual Gamer Oz, so sadly for us, we knew we were going to be 20th and last the moment we spun out of this part of the circuit on lap 1. I'm definitely on the same straight now as Stoffel as we get into the final lap, and whoever's leading, I can see there on the circuit map, is doing so by a very large margin. And hopefully, I'd like to think it's Vettel, but I'm going to assume it's going to be Hamilton. As we now move into our final lap here in Sepang. We cross it. Slower for me, but we're now under 10 seconds to Van Dorn. So that's a positive there. But it really has not been a positive weekend at all here in Malaysia. We're off to Japan next, and you saw how poorly I did in that invitational event in the F2002. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we go in a circuit that I'm not exactly renowned for doing brilliantly at. 9.2 seconds currently to Stoffel. As we get ever closer to something that's not going to matter as I run it wide there. Hold on to it. Again, you just feel like you've got a bit of bigger balls in these cars just with the way that they stick to the circuit like they haven't previously. We're about to see who's going to win this race. I'm going to say it's Hamilton. So he goes into the final turn now. Whoa, and I'm not paying attention to my own race as crossing the finish line is Vettel. Yes! All right, Seb. Bring back that championship. Good for you, Seb. With only 5 rounds to go, that's what you need to do. You need to keep winning them, my friend. Meanwhile, the win for me today is going to be 20th position. So we go up the back straight right now. Disappointing afternoon in Malaysia, but the positive to take from it is I will, for the very first time in a career mode race here on Casual Gamer Oz, finish a Malaysian Grand Prix. So small wins there, small wins to everybody. But I bring up the rear, I take the checkered flag in Malaysia, 20th position. Let's hear it, Jeff.
It just wasn't our day today.
It really wasn't. You're absolutely right with that. So we'll regroup, we'll head into Japan, and obviously that's going to affect our reputation slightly. We're going to have a headless Vettel again. That was crazy. If you didn't see our Singapore video, we had a headless Sebastian Vettel. Kind of freaky, yes. No, he's got a head this time around. That's, well, I'm glad for him. Alright, so Vettel from Bottas. Hamilton actually ended up getting third, so Seb takes 10 points off him. Raikkonen, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Massa, Grosjean for Haas some points, and Magnussen 2 points finishes there for Haas. Perez, our championship rival, getting 2 points. Ocon, our actual rival, doesn't get any points. Now we're just going to take a look at the first lap replay here, because obviously I didn't get the best of starts. Now I had that Sauber, that's Verline. He's the one who's going to shove one down there, and he gets a good start. He gets the start that I wanted. I'm going to bang wheels there with Fernando. Coming into this end, my hand's gone up there. I get pushed out of it. I'm going to go onto the grass here, and then straight into the path of Stoffel, who can go Stoffel himself, because I'm going to hold the speed coming up the hill, and I'm going to throw one up the inside of Fernando here. And I'm not going to make it stick. That was a half-assed attempt at that one, but you're going to see me try and take him as he and Lance Stroll battle it out in front of me, and I think I get him around about here, do I not? I think I just go straight up the inside and try and shove one up Lance Stroll. Whoa, very aggressive on Fernando, and you're going to see me go right up the inside here of Lance Stroll and make a meal of this one. Yep, I backed out of that one. Just didn't have the courage in the end to go through with that move, and you're going to see me very shortly even butcher it more so, because this is what is going to cost my race as we come up into this section here. I've got the speed on Lance Stroll. Maybe I should have just backed out of it slightly and taken them straight, but no, I half-assed, come into it and spin myself out, avoid the barrier. The marshals don't give two shits. I'm flying there. I'm not even on the grass, if you can see there. Look at that. That's a bit of a glitch. I've just become a Star Wars land speeder. And that's what happens. Alright. The standings, if we take a bit of a gander here, so it's only 19 points now. Hamilton over Vettel, Raikkonen third, Bottas, Ricciardo over Verstappen, Massa. We're losing ground on Massa, and Perez is now equaled up to us. So we're going to have a battle there to hold on to 8th place. Grosjean still in 10th position. The constructors as well, we're losing ground on Force India. So we will need to catch up to them if we want to finish 5th in the championship. Mercedes, 7 points over Ferrari. It's close. Red Bull, Williams, Haas now on to 25 points. Can they catch us? Renault, McLaren, Sauber, no points. That's Malaysia. We're off to Japan next. You know that's probably going to be a bad race for us, but we'll try our best. Like, subscribe, comment, everything else in between here on Casual Gamer Oz. Thank you for your company, and we'll speak to you soon wherever you are watching us from.